Galaxy Wildcat. Here she is all set up. Anchor trolley. That goes far enough back, don't need to go any further back than that. Once you've got a bit of bungee cord on there attached to your anchor buoy and your diver's reel, that's like, yeah, sits lovely in the tide. Same the other side. Perfect. Odd rest either side. Rail blazer. Fish finder in the middle. Albeit I think I might put it here. I think it'd be better there. But I do like the rods out either side, so that's kind of why it's there at the moment. I could just do it a bit further forward, because when I'm not going to put in a waypoint or whatever, I have to stretch and lean over. So if I could find a way of maybe mounting this so it comes forward a bit, but obviously clears these. But you know, it's work in progress. Beautiful. So at the front you've got this drain bung, because all kayaks take on a bit of water, as we know. So you've got that. You've got a nice sturdy handle. But the only criticism I've got here, I wish the handle was on a bit of like my Viking kayak. It's riveted in, but it's also on a bit of flex, so this handle moves, so it's quite rigid. So when you're kind of pulling, like on top, when you're trying to pull it up, or you're letting it down from the top of the van, there's no movement in your wrist. You have to go with that same kind of motion. And with my Viking, I can sort of have my hand over to the left or the right or in front, and it goes down a lot easier. It's just a little bit thing I've noticed, but I think that could be improvement. So if you had a bit of cord on each end, it would just make it be able to turn and rotate and pivot a little bit. There's the front hatch. Stays bone dry in there. That's really good. We've got my battery in there, all the cables for the transducer and the power lead for the fish finder. That sits in there quite nicely, and you don't have to drill any holes. The seal's tight enough to actually just put down on top of the cables. As long as they're in the middle, they're not stressing the cables at all. And that's sealed then. It does go tighter. So this is the rudder system we're talking about, getting in here. So it's just 3 screws. It's not too difficult to do it out at sea if you're repairing it, but you shouldn't have to, because if these fall in, we've had it. So now you can see, even in there, you can see all of this. It's just not right, is it? You can see it's all frayed. It's like an old brake cable. Right, should be free now. Tiny little retaining screw there. Posse countersunk. And then this is the cable system. As you can see, look, that's all come off. It's just frayed. It's just wearing away for some reason. So this is my kind of biggest bugbear with this kayak, is the steering, the mechanism that we've got here. I find it hard to believe that they're all like this. I've just been unlucky with this one, but you can see how much it's frayed, and it just looks a bit clunky. It looks a bit basic for a rudder system. And obviously that's all coming apart now, so you've got bare stainless steel cable there. It's not sheathed anymore like in that. It's all kind of kinked as well. And all of these bits, as it's oscillating round, these will touch on this, like so. So when it's oscillating round like that, left and right, it will move inside here, and it's touching and catching on the side here. You can sort of see it in there. It's ground away a little bit. Not right. And there, I don't know if you can see that in there. The same in that one. Hopefully we'll sort it. I've also now fixed the system with the rudder, so I've put these new cables all the way through. They're slightly different cables. They're black with a kind of rubber coating on them, crimped up there nicely, and this system works absolutely perfect. It doesn't grind at all, so in here it's just absolutely perfect now. Over the back there, turns nicely. So yeah, I think it must have just been a fault on production line. It wasn't set up correctly, but I've got it done now, so I'm pleased. Oh, it's all good. So with the anchor trolley system, the Kayak Galaxy Wildcat originally come with guy ropes all the way around here, which I didn't really like. They looked a bit flimsy, they weren't that great. So yeah, they're great for safety aspect for grabbing hold of stuff and that and getting back on, but the same principle can be applied when you've got an anchor trolley system. So I've then got this red and black cord. I'll put a link in the description, and we use the existing mounting points that are there for the anchor trolley system. So this end will clip one of these. Again, I'll leave a link in the description. One of these rollers on a carabiner, and you simply clip it in there like that, and it will stay like at that kind of angle. But that kind of helps with when the anchor trolley system is put in place. And then going to the front, to the bow, you would do the same. Same anchor trolley system there, or the roller there. So if you want to anchor from the front, you can do all the way through these, all the top ones. And then to the other end. Right, let's do it. So through. Through. and then through there as well, and then that's it. You can see your sort of basic anchor trolley. Obviously you need a loop to clip something to one end. There's a little bit of flex in this, so you can sort of pull it tight and then do whatever knot you want to do. I'll just do a little slip knot. It gives it a bit of slack, but yeah, that's it. That is basically it. And then you've got your anchor trolley that runs up and down, right the way to the back, to the front if you're using a drogue, or you want to anchor from the front, whatever, for whatever reason. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Trim it all up and it's all neat. I've put one on the other side as well. This side's got one. So same sort of principle. And then you've got your ring in the middle. You go to the front or the back. So that's how you do your anchor trolley. Just on this side, it's actually on the bottom run of the fixing, because the top run's got this paddle leash in it. So we use the bottom run opening on that one. And that's it. Job's a good one. Stainless steel. I'll put links in all the description for these fittings and the rope and cord and that. And that's it. So with the seat, the installation of the seat's really simple. They just sit in one of two places in these recessed bits. And then you've got a clip system that goes over encasing it, so it clips it in place. So that's your seating position. There are a couple of different seating positions that you can have. You can decide to move this back like that, so you could have the front end lower. You have to do it on both sides, obviously. So the front end could be lower, and then you tighten it out so it's in stable, and then again just fix it in place. So essentially your seat's doing that. Or you could have it the other way, so your seat's doing that as well. So you've got a lower point at the back and you can have a higher one at the front. It's up to you. But easy to adjust. And also easy to adjust on the strapping as well. So if you want the seat further back, you can give it a bit more slack on these. That works. Or further forward, if you want to sit more upright, then you can also take up that slack, like so. And it'll only go back so far. So yeah, lots of adjustment on the seat, lots of varying different positions, and sort of yeah, you definitely find a comfortable seating position on this. It's good. It is good. All stainless steel fittings on there, so they won't rust. Yeah, quite a sturdy old seat. It's good. And that's obviously mounted in the track system. So yeah, it's good. Now with regards to the pedals, you have positions 1 to 7. So whatever position you have on one side, it will be the opposite in terms of numbers on the other side. So it's 1 and 7, it's 6 and 2, it's 5 and 3. So I'm actually 5 and 3, the position I've got, and that works for me. A little bit further forward, and nothing to do with the speed or anything like that. But it gives you a real comfortable seating position. You don't want your legs where your sort of knees are hitting your chin. So that is a lovely position for me. Everyone's different, and you can also adjust it up a little bit with the seat as well. If you are short-legged, you could bring the seat forward to sort of take up that kind of distance. But yeah, I mean, it looks a bit clunky in there. There's a bit of movement and that, but yeah, once it's all clipped in, it's good. So with the transducer, we fit that by, it's actually quite a good system. When I first saw it, I thought it's not that great, but you've got this kind of plastic cover that goes over the transducer, like recess bit, and it's actually quite handy because it's got holes in it. So I mean, the pulse will go through the kayak, you can get through whole transducers anyway, but it actually works quite well in the sense that you can just cable tie your transducer onto it, and I'll show you how to do that now. So the first thing you want to do is thread the transducer cable from the underside of the kayak. Actually, the first thing you want to do is take off this. So unscrew that. It comes with unscrews with 4 screws, stainless steel little pan head screws. To take that off, and then obviously you've then got this recess bit sitting there nicely for your transducer to sit in, but you need to thread your cable through first. So thread it through like I've done there. What you choose to do this end is up to you. At the moment, as a temporary thing, I've just literally got it going into the hatch, and it's sealed, everything's watertight in the hatch. The excess cable stays inside the hatch and then gets plugged into the fish finder there. So that gets pulled through, which is good. You then need enough slack left to do this. You've then got your transducer. So your transducer wants to be mounted like that. Yeah, so it's sending a pulse down like that. So now to do that, we get, let's move that out of the way, we get the top side of this. This is the underside, so that's essentially the bottom of the kayak, which is flush with here, all round here. So this is the underside. So you then place the transducer on there. I'm going to move this because I do need to go get some cable ties. So you then have these cable ties, which are from Screw Fix, quite strong ones, 4.5 by 300s. I'll put a link in the description. Then have your transducer sitting on top of this bit of plastic with the perforated holes in, and then you literally go through, actually do it up there, so you'll literally come through this second lot of holes, through, back through again, and this is where you want to zip it up, zip tie it up, so get that where it needs to be. And literally just get that in there, so it's nice and tight, a bit fiddly. Zip tie that down so that's nice and tight. So that's kind of where it's going to sit. Yeah, it's not secure like that, so we need another zip tie. So same principle again. Have the connecting end this side, go through, back up, and then zip tie that down as well. And that's really secure, it's not going anywhere. So it's nice and tight, it's nice and secure. Transducer doesn't move anywhere. It's sitting inside that recess of the kayak. You've even got room for a bit of this excess cable to be coiled up inside, but most of it will end up in there. Snip these off, neaten it up, and that's basically it. That then gets screwed back to the underside here, and then jobs are good. Beautiful. So the Galaxy Wildcat, does it live up to the name? Well, we've got good points, we've got bad points, we've got things we would change, things we would keep, things we would improve. But overall, we're gonna, we've trialled it for a good few months now. Only at sea, I might add, but we've given it a good run out, and we've caught fish off it, and we can sort of ascertain what it's generally like as a kayak, as a fishing platform, and come to a conclusion of whether it's worth the money, for you guys to buy. I'm not affiliated with in any way with Galaxy Kayaks. I mean, I'm unbiased in my view, it's just this review is really to give everyone an insight into a new kayak that's come onto the market. So let's talk about the pros of the kayak. So it sort of retails at $12.99. So it's a reasonably priced pedal drive kayak, sit on top kayak with a comfortable seat, pedal drive system, and in the middle, so not a cyclone system, but like a pedal, like flipper drive. So it's a fair price, a pedal drive kayak, and that's kind of what attracted me to it. I looked at Hobies. Hobies are a lot of money, but they're a lot of kayak as well. I'm not saying they're expensive for what they are. They're not, I don't think. But some people aren't in the market to just sort of shell out X amount of thousands on a Hobie, and I wasn't in that market. So this was kind of at the right price point for me. So that's like a real kind of like plus for me. It's a fantastic fishing platform. It is really, really stable. It's really, really comfortable. It does shift as well. I've kind of tracked it on the sounder, on the fish finder, when I'm sort of paddling to a certain specific bit of a feature or whatever, and I've looked at how I'm paddling, and I can like really, I can sort of pedal quite quickly. It goes at like sort of 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour if you're like really, really pushing it, and that's not bad.
I can't do a lot more when I'm paddling with my arms in the Viking Profish Reload, which is a kayak that tracks really well, and is just like really sleek and cuts through the water lovely. But this kayak, like the Galaxy Wildcat, it's a good average sort of speed kayak for a pedal drive flipper system kayak. Yeah, and like I say, it's a great fishing platform. I can sit there quite comfortably, and I'm just like pedaling away. I've got a rod out either side, and I'm lure fishing with two rods that are like nicely spaced out. And those of you who know me, like lure fishing is kind of like it's what I love doing. Lure fishing for bass predominantly, and it's what I love doing. And this kayak gives me that option to do that. I can have a rod either side, like spaced out lovely, and you can just like be pedaling away. You're towing lures that are like a couple of mile an hour. It's not hard. You don't feel like you're really working, and it's hands-free propulsion, and it's great. If you get a fish, you can just literally grab the rod. You can still like carry on pedaling, and you're still moving forward. It's really another plus point is that it's really lightweight, so getting it on and off the water it's easy as any other kayak really. It's about the same weight as my Viking Profish Reload. It's a little bit wider, a little bit shorter, so it is being a bit shorter. It is a little bit more difficult to get it on top of the van and that, but it's by no means impossible, and it's fine. Once you find your own little click of how you're going to do that, it's absolutely fine. And I've kind of found that now, so that's not really an issue. It's like I say, it sits quite well in the tide as well at anchor. Quite like the way it sits. I've never been out in really rough weather and sat at anchor with it, but then we don't do it. Like kayak fishing when we're not going to be sitting in like real rough seas. I kind of feel comfortable in my Viking Profish Reload. I feel really at home and at one with that. I wouldn't really want to push the Galaxy Wildcat to that kind of extreme, but sitting at anchor in general kind of weather that we'd go out in, us kayakers, then it's perfect. There's a little bit of slap on the back at anchor because it's got like a kind of flat stern to it, and when the tide's kind of, because it's like towed down on the seabed, it's like the tide kind of hitting it, and there is kind of this noise of a bit of a slap, but it's fine. It sits well. I'm comfortable. At no point did I think, oh cool, that's a bit, felt like I was going to be tipped out or anything like that. So it's really comfortable. The other plus point, or the pro for the Galaxy Wildcat, is that the customer service is spot on. I mean, as you guys know, I had a bit of a rant on Facebook about the rudder system when I first went out, and I think it is shown in my first video. They were kind of bending over backwards to help me, and it wasn't just to try and shut me up. It was just to remedy the problem and move forward with it. And that's what the owner of Galaxy Kayaks UK, Graham, said to me. He said, we just want to move forward and just what do you want us to do? And I think it was unfortunate that the rudder system failed, because they can't all be the same. It can't be a manufacturing problem, because everyone else will be shouting about it on social media and that. So it was just, I feel it's just like kind of an isolated incident where on the production line it wasn't maybe set up right, and it just worked itself loose, and it was one of those things. It wasn't a minor, it was a kind of major, because I was out at sea, and it was just it was a major thing that went wrong. But their customer service to sort of remedy that was spot on. Whatever I needed, they kind of supplied, and they produced, and they just kind of made it happen. And now the kayak's absolutely fine. So clearly it was just like, well, I think just an isolated incident. It's not kind of indicative of that rudder system for Wildcats. It's just, that's the problem I had, and I think it's, I have to be honest, I think it's fair to say that it was just an isolated incident, and I've sorted it. I could have kicked off and sent the kayak back and told them to sort it, but you have to be reasonable. I run my own business, and you have to be reasonable. Things do go wrong in business, and it's how you deal with those things. And to my mind, they dealt with it okay, and it was fine, and they resolved it, and that's a plus point for me. With Galaxy Kayaks UK, they're keen to help, they're keen to listen, they're keen to help, and what more can you ask for? You're not going to please everyone all of the time. Some people would have just sent the kayak back and asked for their money back, but I remedied it. I could see what the problem was, and it was obvious to me that it was an easy fix, and just needed the right stuff to do it, and I got that. So yeah, that's a plus point. Like, customer service is a real plus point. A big thing for me with the pedal drive flipper system was that it's great being hands-free when you're hands-free propulsion, so you can hold a lure rod out and you're just towing a lure or whatever, or that can be in the holders. But a big deal for me was the fact that you can't reverse on these flippers, and I was told that you could. So I had an online chat, might have been with a chat box or whatever you call it, a robot chat, but I asked the question, can you reverse these flippers? And the answer was yes. And I wouldn't say I bought the kayak on that basis, that you can then revert, you can pedal forward and then reverse. But it was kind of something I had in my mind, because like you watch all the guys on the Hobies, like at competitions, and they're like kind of holding themselves over maybe a shoulder perch or zander or a feature or some sort, and then they can also reverse it, and just kind of adjust the steering and adjust the kayak position with the reverse as well. But I was told it had reverse, it doesn't. So unlike the Supernova, which has got the cyclone drive, so you can just like sort of pedal backwards if you want to sort of hold yourself over that position, and forwards, and then steer and do whatever you need to do. But that was a negative for me. It's a great price, the flipper drive kayak. It's a very stable fishing platform. Great for trolling and lure fishing. Lightweight and easy to manoeuvre. Very comfortable seats. And great customer service. The cons: rudder fail. Doesn't have a reverse on the flipper drive system. Not enough accessible storage. And finally, cheap rigging around the kayak. So to conclude, I've kind of remedied the main problem, which was a rudder fail for me, and this was a big deal. But at Galaxy Kayaks, like I say, the customer service is spot on, and they kind of
give me all the components and that to sort that out. And so yeah, I think it's fair to say on the cons list, that's one that's been sort of remedied. The other bits I think they could improve on, but overall I'd say I'm really happy with the Kayak. It's a good fishing platform. It's given me what I need, even though I actually haven't used it for what I bought it for, which was for perch and pike and sort of zander fishing and that type of thing. But obviously the seas are a little bit more harsher than those sort of conditions you're going to find on a reservoir. So yeah, I know it's going to live up to it, and it's going to be a great kind of platform for me to lure fish off, and very comfortable for a day on a reservoir. So overall, I'm fairly pleased. Would I recommend people buy them? Yeah, I think they're a fair price Kayak, and I think you're getting, with a few adjustments, if you've got that in mind, I think you should you should purchase it. You would just with the view that you will have to make a few alterations to like the rigging and other bits and bobs and find suitable storage and that type of thing. But yeah, overall I'm really happy, and I think it's a decent entry level flipper drive kayak. So yeah, I'm pleased. And for those of you that are really into having an electric drive motor, there is one coming specifically for the Galaxy Wildcat. So that's due to be out before the end of the year, albeit we're into December now, so it looks unlikely. But I guess in the new year it will be here. I've been assured that they're gonna have them in stock very soon. So yeah, that's another option for those people that like to use an electric motor. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you found this review interesting. We'll be doing reviews on more products, but please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, thanks.